You know, our church began in 1972 in what came to be known as the Jesus Movement. And what began as just a few college kids coming together for fellowship and Bible study and prayer and ministry to one another became this amazing church, this dynamic church, this movement that's been influencing and reaching our city with the gospel of Jesus Christ for almost 50 years now. And because of the passion for Jesus and the passion of that group to reach people with the gospel, their numbers grew. It caused for them to have to seek God and trust God for where they would meet and how they would meet and the provision for acquiring those places. And it led that group to seek God and renovate a car dealership on 23rd Street. And eventually they outgrew that location and had to once again seek God for the provision to build the building on Michigan Street, which now serves as Veritas Christian School.
And from there, the church continued to grow, which caused the leadership at that time to take a big step of faith and acquire this land.
When this facility was originally built, I was on the building committee. We were looking for property to build on, and over a course of time was approached by a realtor who had this property. Wakarusa was a dirt road. When we moved to Lawrence in 1983, it was called Drag Strip Road. And they did Friday night races down the street out here. And it was literally a cornfield. There was nothing out here besides farmhouses around. And they'd had it for sale for a while and offered us basically a really, really good deal on the 10 acres. And it was such a good deal that a year later, the realtor came back and offered us double what we paid for it to buy it back, because they could start to see some of the potential for this piece of property. Obviously, we didn't sell it.
So now, 30 years later, it's amazing to look back and just see how faithful God was to lead us to a strategic location in our city, which is now surrounded by growth and development and homes and families. And He positioned us right here on purpose with these 10 acres. We have room to grow and expand and dream about what's possible for us to make a difference in our community.
Having grown up in this church, I've gone here since I was a child. I remember when we built this building and when we moved here, and I remember even the excitement then of when we came here, when this building was first built, sitting in our seats and thinking, oh my gosh, this place is massive, and being grateful and in awe of it at the time when I was a child, and then to see it kind of get used, which you want. If the carpet's not getting worn out, that means people aren't coming. My hope is that we're always replacing the carpet. I hope we're always repainting the walls. I hope we're always getting a new projector, redoing the parking lot. If we just stop, I just don't think that's what God would have for us.
Well, in recent years, the Lord has really been bringing a big vision to the leadership of Rev City Church. And one of the things that the Lord really highlighted as one of the first significant steps of faith in this season that we were called to take was bringing renewed excellence to our existing facility.
I came on staff full time in April of 2016, and in April of 2016, we started working on this project.
Comforting to know that we have an eldership, we have a lead pastor and staff that take very seriously how we steward what God has given us, and that the elders and Pastor Thomas would sit together and pray and seek God and really press in and then not move until there's unanimity in the decisions they're going to make related to every decision that they make, but specifically to this renovation.
Even just to see like Pastor Thomas's door, like halfway closed, but you can peek in and you can see all the color samples on the floor, or all the carpet samples, which is so funny, but it's also so encouraging that he takes that much pride in how this church is going to be a ministry point for Lawrence, for the surrounding area. He takes it seriously, and I think that's really awesome. The leadership here is really pressing in and trying to make the best decisions we can possibly.
So good stewardship, it's biblical. I can look at Haggai. I've got it pulled up. Haggai 1, verse 2 and 3. A message from God of the angel armies. The people procrastinate. They say this isn't the right time to rebuild my temple, the temple of God. Shortly after that, God said more, and Haggai spoke it. How is it that it's the right time for you to live in your fine new homes, while the home, God's temple, is in ruins?
God's house is worth it. You know, the scriptures talk about God admonishing his people. It's like, you have houses that you live in that are well taken care of, but look at my house. And we don't need to be legalistic about that, but we need to take care of God's house. And if we can do that in an excellent way, which is what we should do, because God is worthy of that, and financially sound, faith-filled, then I think we need to step into those things.
And so for us as elders, we began to see in unity, this is time. It's time to refresh, revitalize, repaint, recarpet.
We're really, really grateful to have the opportunity to work in God's house and to steward this facility and bring it to a renewed level of excellence that it once had. And when this place was built in 1990, it was legit. And just like any home that was built in 1990, if you bought a home right now that, had been largely not updated in 30 years, it would be time for Chip and Joanna Gaines to come to town and put the gloves on.
We remodel our bathrooms. We get new cabinets and countertops in our kitchens. We repaint our house. We get new shingles on our roofs. We do these things. We take care of our own resources and our own assets. It's almost shameful that we wouldn't do the same thing for the Lord's house. This isn't my house. It's not your house. It's the Lord's house. And by taking care of his house, we honor him. I believe we honor him, and I believe we show him that we are grateful for what he's given us.
It's just exciting, and people feel the same way about it as they would their own home if they're undergoing a renovation in their kitchen or something like that. Like, it's exciting. Like, growth is exciting. Renovation is exciting. New construction is exciting. It's messy, but it's exciting.
One of the opportunities that I've had is to be on the construction team, as I call it, to get to weekly meet with Pastor Thomas and Brent, who is our general contractor, just to be able to pray and consider each decision, think it through, get wisdom from engineers or other people, architects, so that we make the best decision possible for the finances that we've been given toward this project, for the ministries that are involved and it will affect for this project.
As a member of the congregation, not as a staff person, as a member of a congregation, that gives me great peace to know that everything is prayerfully considered, it's thought through. We've even had to back up a few times and say, you know what, that's falling short of what God has called us to move forward. And so let's make the next step. Let's press in.
The condition of any facility, it speaks a message. Whether it's a hole in a wall or some torn carpet or carpet stains or a cabinet that's wonky, won't close right, whatever it might be, it sends a message. Whether it's brand new carpet, brand new paint, brand new cabinets, these all send messages. And how I might interpret that message could be different from someone else. But someone might see that carpet, they might see that hole in the wall and they think, well, if that's how they take care of this building, how well are they going to take care of my kids when I drop them off? How well are they going to take care of my kid on a Wednesday night? It sends a message. So good stewardship, it's full circle. It's not just about that hole in the wall, but it's about how people receive it and interpret that hole in the wall.
The people that continue to choose to come to church here at Rev City amidst the dust, amidst the wires and all of that, it's pretty amazing. It truly is God's handiwork in all of this.
The renovation on the outside is in a lot of ways indicative of what's happening in our church family on the inside.
It creates an excitement that is contagious, and the evidence of that is that more and more people are coming to the church.
If you would have told me like a year ago that we would have as many kids as we do now in our ministry on Sunday morning, I don't know if I would have believed it, because it felt to me at the beginning like the renovation, we need more space for who we have now. But really, when you think about it, we need more space for who we are going to have.
People are passing by and seeing the signage, seeing the new awning, seeing the front glass. All those small things to us are significant to the people that are driving by on a weekly basis. And to see that, it's hard not to get excited.
And you can already see that happening. You can already see rooms, getting filled up with children each week, the sanctuary getting filled up with people ready to worship God.
The renovation is just, it's a new beginning. God's breathing, so he's breathing and he's moving, and it's not just in the renovation where our numbers are up.
Every week, the numbers in our children's ministry go up. The numbers in our congregational attendance go up. The numbers in life group attendance going up significantly. I mean, almost doubling compared to last semester, which is amazing. It's hard not to be excited about something like that.
It represents the new life that we're experiencing, the new growth that we're experiencing, seeing just a new move of the Lord and His presence and His Holy Spirit.
It just means that we're reaching more people and we're bringing in our community. It's about changing a city. It's about getting people, getting the Word of God in people's hearts and minds every day, and so that they can go out and start talking to people.
Now, when someone drives down Wakarusa, there's just a snippet of a reflection on the outside on our property of what's happening on the inside.
So I think it's exciting when we get an opportunity to take what God has given us, steward it well, and the natural progression of that is going to be that we're going to have to improve walls. We're going to have to knock down walls. Technology is constantly changing and evolving to present a unique way for people to hear and receive the gospel. If that causes us to be able to share the gospel differently, that's going to draw more people to Christ, then I think we need to get behind that.
You know, when I think about what it means to leave a legacy, I am just so grateful for those who have gone before us, who paved the way for us to have this land and to have this facility because they sought the Lord and they prayed and they obeyed and they were faithful and generous.
It's hard to put into words to express what it means to see, all of this, happening at the church, having grown up in this building. I mean, I was baptized right back there in that baptismal, and to see a place that means so much to me and to see a renewed excellence be applied, just a lot of care. There's a lot of history in this building. There's a lot of love, a lot of life that's happened. And
when I think of God's faithfulness and the legacy that has really brought here, I think of the past generations and the future generations to come. So the past generations, just a group of college students meeting at a house, coming together and seeking God's will for their time and their place in history, and seeing how that has grown to what this is today.
It's a tremendous honor because I can only imagine the amount of prayer and spending time with the Lord and making hard decisions, faith decisions that required sacrifice. I think about our kids here that are getting to experience the fruit of generations before us, and it's just amazing.
And Hebrews talks about how we now run our race surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, people who have gone before us in the faith. And it's encouraging to know that we're building upon a legacy of faithfulness and obedience and a hunger to see God move and to see people's lives touched and changed by the power of the love of Jesus.